G'day and welcome back for more Mission Improbable. And I've been thinking about this base design and I want to kind of change it up. But to change it up in the way that I want to is going to require an awful lot of steel plate. Also, I just noticed that I'm standing really near the edge. How did I manage that? Huh. Anyway, my plan is to kind of give this some of the looks that you can sort of see from this trade station. The idea that there are like plates or areas that stick out to give it a bit more external interest. One of the things I've fallen into the trap of many times, including now, is making structures like this hangar, this garage, almost too compact. So you're very much limited in what you can do with the exterior of it. So I'm going to expand it a little bit. I'm going to change up the design, and I'm going to use some elements from something I've built before. And that is design elements from this ship that I built. This was built in a series over on Twitch, which is a whole lot of fun, but these kind of segmented armor shapes with the recessed parts, I think are a great way to introduce new shapes and new design elements to your bases, which is why they're frequently used on things like that trade station over there. And I think we can do something with that. The other thing is green and orange, not the best match of colors, so we might change up the color scheme a lot on the base today, but to do any of this stuff and to actually see it come into play, I need to collect more materials. And at the moment, I'm a little bit low on cash. So what I'm thinking of doing is going to the wreck that I found last time, grinding it down and getting as much of the materials on board this truck as I can, coming back here and then building myself something that flies, because then I can do these sorts of trips much more quickly. But I think doing it first with the rover, since I have used up the vast majority of my materials. Yeah, 32 steel plate left. That's not ideal. So collect that, come back, and then we'll see where we're at. And away we go. Wait. I found another base on the planet! Boyle's Hall! Nice! Oh, that makes me happy. Cool. I need to go to my GPS list and go Mars and put this in front of the ones that are actually here, because that means they're sorted nice and neatly in my GPS list. Where is Fraser? Something that's kind of cool about going to first person only but allowing myself use of spectator cam is that I'm actually, I think, getting better views of my truck going across the surface when I use this, and I'm going to try and use this a bit more. It's not going to help me navigate because I'm not going to use it zoomed out or anything like that. It's just to make these scenes look more cool. I like it. It's at times like this when I'm grinding down something and expecting to kind of process most of it. I would have loved to still be able to record a time lapse. I don't have a PC that can do it right now, because it always looked fun seeing myself run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and just disappearing a thing like this, grinding it down by hand. It's quite satisfying to watch. Oh, regular connector. Nice. I now have all the connector types. Oh, smuggled goods. Where does that need to go to? Distance 50 kilometers. Ow! Who wants to go to space? I don't want to go to space. This searchlight has proven to be completely useless in its location there, so I'm going to move it. I'm going to make it a proper reversing camera. Since I can now connect my truck to the wreck, I can drain out the little bit of hydrogen that's in that tank and potentially collect it into a tank on my rover when I leave here, so I can leave with a decent, well, I mean, it's 11% of a large tank, so it's an okay amount of hydrogen. So what I can now do with that connected is turn these to stockpile, turn the engine on, unless I find an unexpected O2H2 gen on here somewhere, in which case I'll stop caring about hydrogen because I can just go mine some ice. You might be saying, but you don't have drills yet. I'm like, but I can get drills quite easily. There are plenty of mining ships for sale. So I'm just assuming I've got drills, albeit after doing some work to get the money to buy them. Because they're one of the easiest things to identify on the plans before you buy a vehicle. But stuff like an O2H2 gen, not as much. Though, having said that, I do wonder how many of the small vehicles will have them, especially if they are a hydrogen-based vehicle. How many will Kina put in there that have them? Oh wow, there's a large Atmo thruster on this. Oh, I'm gonna be full so quickly. Okay, cargo is full. Well over 1,000 steel plates. That should be a good, solid start on getting my next stage of building plans laid out. And it looks like I've still got plenty more steel plate here to go. Oh, that's a cool way to do a shot. I just hope I don't crash while I'm doing it. Oh, I've got to try and... Oh, an ore processing facility. I think that's still going to be hostile if I go anywhere near it. Since I'm planning on now demolishing most of that hangar and redesigning it, I'm just going to build a little temporary connection here so that I can hook up and offload everything a lot more quickly than I did last time. So since I'm going to be redesigning this garage, I thought I should probably place down a couple of at least more permanent wind turbine towers. I think I'm probably going to end up with a significant rearrangement of my prior plans. And instead of having this as my like large build area, I'm going to start putting some turbine towers down out here. Kind of linking off from this container. Or at least it's sort of occupying this space here. I'm not going to worry about spacing these out for optimal power production. I'm actually just going to space them out for what I think will look nice. So I'm only going to leave smaller gaps between these turbine towers. Because honestly, as long as they're producing enough power, it doesn't matter if each block is optimal. That's been my opinion for quite some time on these. Is that it's just like, well, I can always just have more of them, right? I'm also going to try out this pale blue as my base color. I think it might look nice. Haven't done the pastels in a while, and I thought I'd give them another go. Alright, so what's going to be my usual power output? 382 plus 345 and another 382. Yeah, that's alright. It's not too bad. I kind of like it with the varied heights. I might do the next one shorter if I need to, if I decide to need an extra one. Oh, I really want some guns though. I'm right in the middle of this storm. Oh, I feel... Okay, some are hitting the safe zone. Oh man. No. I need interior turrets soon. I need something. Thought I'd have a quick look at what's for sale at the moment, just to see if stuff like steel plate was for sale, because I'm going to need a lot of it. No steel plate for sale. Leet grinder though, gimme. Well, you're not selling steel plate, at least you're making it easier for me to get some. Now that I've got the start of my base, I kind of want to switch projects, because obviously the steel plate is going to be time consuming to acquire. I kind of want to switch projects to try and do one of these courier missions if there's a short distance one. But knowing that there's a space-based thing that's nearby, I'm a little concerned. Alright, another trip out to the salvage site. Oh, so much nicer with the new grinder. This is going to save me so much time. Oh, cool. Ore detector. I didn't have one of those. Oh, it's an extra bonus. Very nice. Very handy. Now, apparently, I can get those blueprints by actually grinding this down. Quantum cryptographic device. Alright. Just make sure this is actually working. One of the things was an ATM, which I don't have. Oops. Confirming. Vending machine, ATM, safe zone. Safe zone. That could be handy if I don't get turrets and I need something to stop all the meteors from hitting me. Ah, the data has been decrypted. Oh, cool. I don't know why I didn't think to use that method of grinding it down. I don't know why my brain was stuck to the idea of it has to be a block. I can't grind the item. I guess because it felt a bit weird grinding a data pad. Or because I thought it was just a data pad, not a separate type of device, of thing. But yeah, extreme lack of creative problem solving on my end, not even thinking, perhaps I should grind the item. Ugh. Too many years of solving my space engineer's problems a particular way meant that I didn't think of, oh, alright, there could be some other ways of doing this, you know? Oh, how interesting. A basic refinery.
Inventory.
I've got my first production block. I can actually make ingots now, or at least some of them. Alright. Found ore detector, basic refinery. That means I can buy one of those mining ships, start mining resources, and selling them. Whenever they're available, whenever they can be. That's cool. I can't do anything with the resources myself, I'll have to actually sell them, but that's still really nice. Anytime I see, like, iron being purchased, that sort of thing. Something else that I'd forgotten was added in the latest update, which is really, really nice, is when you open the economy overview window, you can use an item search. So if I want to find somewhere that has on offer a particular ammunition type, I can search and see if anyone has it. There we go, the NSL station nearby has artillery shells for sale. Or if I want to, now that I can, sell iron ingots, and see if anyone's buying those. Let's try iron search, no. What about nickel? What about silicon? Nuts. Oh, cobalt. Just trying to think of what can be made from from the basic refinery. Hey, they're buying cobalt. 184 pieces, 800 pop. It's not a huge amount of cash, but it's not nothing, especially for the amount of effort it takes. And then the last would be magnesium powder. That's worth a bit more. Cool. All right, I'm gonna be setting up a refinery soon. Sweet. And starting to get into mining. Leave the battery for the moment. One of the things that I'm thinking about a lot while playing through this scenario, nuts, I'm full, is about what could be done with this economy setup, with how it works now, and my scrapyard mods. How could they interact in a way that's interesting? Not necessarily replacing the existing way that scrapyard works, more likely as an alternative way. I'm gonna have to go back home and then come back here and grab that hydrogen, and then we have to make one more trip. All right, let's make that trip, and then we're done with this wreck, which is great. But yeah, some ways that the two might interact to make both different and better. So this time I came back with the hydrogen tank, and I'm going to try and siphon off this one. I don't know if it's going to be enough to fully empty this out, but I figure if I've got one small grid large hydrogen tank full of hydrogen, that's still saved me a few $100 grand of fuel. I can't exactly remember how much it was, but it's a sizable amount. Oh. Yeah, okay. Kind of wish I had brought more than just that one. Is it worth me coming back again? I haven't brought the components with me, so I can't build another one here. Kind of forgot that a small grid large hydrogen tank is only a tiny couple of % of a large grid large. Just trying to decide whether I care about 8% of a large hydrogen tank. Do I care about enough to fly over here? Or do I just leave it here and I can come back to it later when, if that becomes an issue? Yeah, maybe that's the better play. I'll leave. I'm going to change my GPS marker from wreck to hydrogen tank 8%. Then I'll turn it off. There we go. Now I can head home with this fuel and get started on some building. I just stripped down the whole garage, and instead of rebuilding it, what I'm actually going to do now is build something that can fly and then use whatever's left over to build as much of the base as I can. Because I don't want to get into a situation where I've built up everything, used up all my resources, and then I'm like, oh, I've got to drive to the next thing now, don't I? Would have been really nice to be able to fly. Shouldn't have used up all that steel plate, and then be left with the choice of, do I grind it down or not? So, let's just quickly check. Oh, no, don't need to fly in there. That's right. Item search. Hydrogen bottle. Listing type, offer. It's available. I'm buying a hydrogen bottle. It is happening. It is going to make me happy. That makes me happy. Since the sun is going down, I'm going to pop a light on here so I can see what's going on as I do this. My idea of what I'm going to build here is something that's a little bit dragonfly-esque is what I think I've got in my head. I'm not sure if it's going to work out, but what I want is something that's going to be able to fly to the search missions, pick them up, take them back to the station, and be able to quickly complete a few of the search contracts. And maybe be enough to do some courier runs, and also go to these salvage sites and determine which ones I want to go back to with the rover or with a heavier vehicle. But I don't want to start with the heavy vehicle because I just kind of don't want to. I am going to get smacked in the head by some hail, and that's going to be not fun. But here we are. So I'm going to need to go with a big battery, which is going to dictate the scale of this a little bit. But
low health.
That's just annoying. Maybe I can wait out the storm in here. So I'm going to go with a large battery because this is going to be something with atmo thrusters, so I need to have a decent amount of power. I'm not going to go with 2. I think I should be able to get away with 1. My hope was that maybe with a large battery there, and using these guys, I could have a bit of an interesting body shape that I could put my control seat on. Then I can extend this out and then build like flimsy looking wings with flat mo thrusters on them. Because hopefully that'll work out. We'll see how how far I get before I'm like, oh, this was all a terrible idea. So that on there. Now this has a conveyor port front and back, but it also has one underneath. If I now chop these out, I should be able to put my oxygen tank underneath. Although, I don't get oxygen from this, do I? But I probably still want to carry one. So maybe I'll put it at the back here, and then I can use that as an accessible point that I can put an oxygen tank into. That's probably not a bad plan. I can squeeze a gyroscope under here. Oh, speaking of, I haven't actually unlocked gyroscopes, have I? No. So let's do that. There is one, I think, under here. So we'll find out that side. Yeah, there it is. So that's sort of the central body shape. The bit I hadn't figured out with this one was what to do with the wings. There's a part of me that wants to do 4 wings. So some go down and some go up. But I'm not sure how that's going to work with the scaffolding blocks, particularly. Because the scaffolding blocks, if I use them, might end up looking a bit strange, but we'll see. I'll lay it out and see how it feels after I've done it. Yeah, something like that. That's what I was imagining. I think it could work. We'll see. See how wrong I am. I have no idea how awkward this is going to be to land. Especially without third person, but I'm sure it'll all be fine. What could possibly go wrong? Cool, so that's going to be my lift thrust. That should be plenty for the sort of stuff that I'm going to be picking up. The thing that I need to figure out now is what can I do with the dragonfly that's going to let me have left, right, and forward and backwards thrust. Because I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. So the left and right, I've just gone with these 3 flat mows either side, and I think that'll be enough. If I need more, I can probably find place to fit more, but I thought also with that staggered look like that, I could possibly even continue. It's probably a bit hard to see at the moment, but as I weld this up, it should be more obvious. Continue the idea of a little bump there by putting, say, these at the same spacing. So you've got the raised bits of the thrusters going to the half raised bits. And then at the very back here is where I'm going to go with my reverse thrusters. I'm going to use sci-fi atmospheric ones. Because I think for forward and back, these are probably going to be what's going to look nicest. And then once this is all welded up, I'm going to use some plate and try and make some little winglets at the back to make it a bit interesting. But yeah, that should be technically functional. I think I might have even made it big enough that I could put a medium cargo container there. Giving myself some storage, and then I'll make a little nose cone for it. Yeah, let's do that. I shouldn't need a lot of storage. I just thought it might be useful to have something to take home, at least bits and pieces on each trip. Maybe if I find something particularly valuable, I can be like, oh, okay, yep, I can bring this home. Yeah, once I do the nose shaping, I'll be pretty happy with this, I think. Let's see how it turns out. Let's weld it up. I need to get some food and power first, though. Alright, we're gonna need some lights on this before I start flying it. Mostly because I think they're gonna help me actually spot when I'm closer to the ground. No, that's right, I'm out of girders. Some of the flimsy bits of the wings might not actually be welded up. I'm also not sure I'm sold on the scaffold wings. I may change them out to armor and make them solid. See if it grows on me. Oh, I just realized a serious problem with me making a flying thing that I don't know if I can deal with yet. Oh. I might actually have to buy a thing first. This doesn't have an enclosed cockpit. I have no means to heal while I'm in this. So if I get into a storm, I have to leave that storm. I can't hang around. I can't wait to get injured. I've actually just got to fly away and get to the nearest safe spot. I am really worried that I'm not going to remember to do that when the time comes. Oh, that's concerning. Really concerning. Great. So this looks a little bit different to where I was just a moment ago, at least in the edit, and that's because of a bit of a stupid thing I did. I managed to not record myself doing some things that were pretty dumb, and I've ended up in a pretty hilarious, well, I think it's going to be pretty funny, situation to try and fix. I'm here with this flying thing landed next to a search goal, a search target, and I'm pretty much out of power. We check the battery. It says 26 kilowatt hours. I should probably turn this off so that I can at least keep what little it has. Yeah. So, how did I get here, you ask? Well, let's have a look at kind of what happened. As soon as I'd finished this dragonfly, the first thing I did was set up this connector on my base so that I could power it up and charge up the battery a bit. I did start doing that, but this is sort of where things started going wrong. I got a little bit impatient and decided, you know what, I really want to test fly this. I'm going to go and get a couple of search missions. So off I went, searching for things out here. I managed to find the first one really quickly, pick it up, drop it off. The second one was a bit more tricky. It took me a bunch of going back and forwards, and back and forwards, but I did eventually find it. And when I did, I still had plenty of time left and I had an okay-ish amount of power left. I got myself in position, I used my cameras to get the landing gear ready to lock. I pressed lock and I left. And I got all the way home before I realized I'd left it behind. I got back and was like, wait, why didn't that complete? And then I realized it must never have locked at all. So I flew back. That's where things got spicy. Because that's where I came in to land with only seconds of fuel left, seconds of power left, and that's how I ended up here. Where I need to figure out if I can run this back in time, or if I need to figure out a different way to complete this search contract. I have 16 minutes. All right, so I'm gonna need to carry this 7 kilometers. I've got no food. My oxygen's a bit low, so sprinting is out of the question. So what I'm gonna do is go /GPS, dragonfly. I'm gonna fly back home so that I can get more oxygen, get more jetpack, and get some food so that I can actually sprint. Because not being able to sprint for 7 kilometers, it's not going to be fun. I should have actually got enough jetpack to do this distance. Hey, 25% left. Not bad. I guess since I came back home, I may as well take the rover to go collect it. That'll also be quicker than running. Yeah. I should be able to pick it up, stick it on a landing gear. Oh, make the landing gear before I go. And let's load this thing up. It really is on the heavy side. I'm not sure I can get this all the way on top. Yeah, man. Up you come. Come on in. Closer. Higher. It's locked. That'll do. Surely that's not a terrible place for me to drive with this. What could possibly go wrong? Don't make any sharp left turns. Good thing I started by going right. It's been quite fun messing around trying to get some interesting camera angles with this as I use the spectator cam around my truck instead of using third person. I think when I next play with third person, I'm probably going to mess around with this a bit more. At least if I'm on terrain where I feel like I can risk it. This is... Ooh, rock. This is pretty low risk terrain as far as driving goes. We should be able to get this handed in time. No explosions in our face. I didn't damage it. It should all be good. Should just disappear as soon as I get pretty much inside the safe zone. And there it goes. Yeah. Oh, a bit of a stoppy too. Nice. Well, I'm in a bit of I'm now in a bit of a pickle, and I'm going to try and figure that out next time. Which will hopefully be very soon, and I will see you then, hopefully with no missed bits of the recording. Oh, that was so bad. But still kind of funny, and leaving me in a bit of an awkward situation, so I'm not all that upset about it. I just really wish you could have seen how I got there.